We could start calling you Papa Smurf.
Me?
Yeah.
You don't have to, though.
Okay.
Well, don't want that.
Okay.
How about it's my birthday gift? You don't call me that.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't get you anything?
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
sure.
because of that, but just because that's what I want as a gift. Like, if you were to get me something, that would be my gift.
To
So
not
if I
call
got you
you
something
Papa
else,
Smurf?
I don't have to. I can call you Papa Smurf again.
Yeah, you can return.
No,
Oh.
I would rather just have...
Once I get you an official other gift, I can re-gift that other one back.
Yeah.
I would rather
You can take it back. If you've already given them something, you can take it back.
That's how gifts work. Is if I give you a gift, but then I decide to give you a
get
different
one,
gift,
you take the original
I
back.
take the original back.
Yeah.
It's no longer gifted to you.
Yeah, I would still rather just have the first gift, though.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you want.
Oh, because I'm receiving the
It's
gift.
his
I don't.
gift.
I don't
It's
choose what I
my
get.
gift
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
give
sorry,
to you.
sorry. That's fair. Well, welcome back to Man Cave Movie Night. This is our 2023 wrapped, baby. Booyakasha. Jacket.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Skip-reba. Well, it's not New Year yet.
Well,
Not New
for
Year
them,
yet.
it
Not
is.
for us, no. For you,
For us,
yes.
no. For you, yes. Oh, Happy New... Oh, yeah, today is New Year. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I just mixed up my dates.
It's NYE, but it's not
Nen.
TNY.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for spending another wonderful year with us. We can't wait for the next 30 more.
We both said 30. That was fun.
Not the same number.
Wow.
So we're going to talk a lot about what
I'll
we
be
liked and maybe
54.
some of what we didn't like from this last year. And with that, I thought it would be kind of fun to start with a little game. You know, because we boys here at Man Cave Movie Night like to watch a lot of movies. And
Yup.
Yep.
this year was no exception to that. And so we are going to talk about some
This
movies.
year.
But before we do that, I have a game where I'm going to read a brief log line from a movie that you haven't seen that came out this year, and you have to guess what movie it is.
I've
These
seen
will
every
not-
movie that I know
Okay.
came out. And outside of that, I'm like, well,
I think it won't be quite as hard as you think because these are movies that I think were pretty popular that you just didn't watch. And I'll choose
How do
some
you know?
that you two did not watch that I did watch just because they're probably they're pretty popular and so it probably wouldn't
but if
be
I
too
did watch them,
Yeah,
I
I don't tell you everything I watch.
It's true, but your internet browsing history does, so.
Whoa. Okay.
So here
Uh-oh.
we go. Let's start off with, how about Niall? You want to
Yes,
start off?
please.
Niall.
You want to
Yes,
start off, Niall?
please.
Okay.
But how
I would love
is
to start
Niall?
off.
That's what we need.
I'm
to ask.
okay.
And audience at home, you guys can participate because maybe you've seen these movies or maybe you haven't. But either way, you can be like, oh, I know that movie. It's... And then insert your answer where I inserted my filler noise. So, first question, first log line. We got, on the brink of losing her childhood home, Maddie discovers an intriguing job listing. Wealthy helicopter parents looking for someone to quote-unquote date their introverted 19-year-old son, Percy, before he leaves for college. To her surprise, Maddie soon discovers the awkward Percy is no sure thing.
Too long for a logline pitch, by the way, but that
Yeah, but it's
is
just the letterbox, whatever
that
synopsis.
is no hard feelings.
That is correct.
Nice.
Oh wow,
That's the
Wow.
sound they make on Price is Right. You get 2 of those for each one you get correct. So,
Great.
good job, Niall. All right, Jared.
Thanks.
This...
Do I get any if I get it incorrect, or
No, you
is it
get
all or
silence.
nothing?
You get 10 seconds of complete silence.
Great for a podcast.
I don't want that. I don't want that
So
at
don't get it
all.
wrong. All right, here we go. And remember, these are movies you have not seen. So
Right.
don't be guessing movies you have seen. Not that you're going to with this one. But, all right, here we go.
Oppenheimer?
But they're also
No.
popular. They're also very popular movies that came out this year that I'm sure
Okay.
you've at least heard of or seen the posters of, all that stuff.
I'll be the judge of
People
that.
you know have seen them, at the very least.
Good.
All right, here we go. Nora and Hae Sung, 2 deeply connected childhood friends, are wrest apart after Nora's family emigrates from South Korea. 20 years later, they are reunited for one fateful week as they confront notions of love and destiny.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know this one?
No chance I know this one. That doesn't sound familiar in the slightest.
I'll give you the director, which I don't think will help, but I'll give
Yeah,
it
I
to
don't
you
think
anyway.
Great.
it'll help me. Yeah,
Directed
good-
by
good
Celine Song.
great. So Lucas used one of my lifelines for me.
No, those aren't lifelines. If you can't guess it, I'll give you the director.
I will say this is The Killer.
That it would be incorrect.
Yep.
This is Past Lives.
Yeah, I have not heard of that
Haven't
one.
You never
that.
heard of it?
But let's go ahead and...
All right, that wasn't 10 seconds, but that was more than I could handle. So we're
right.
going to move on to the next one. Past Lives. A lot of people really liked it and loved it. I haven't watched it, but
How was
I've
the
heard it's
marketing
great.
for that? It definitely wasn't the same as Jennifer Lawrence movie of the year.
Okay, fine. Niall, here's one for you. Okay, Niall, get ready.
I'm ready.
PJ and Josie start a fight club as a way to lose their virginities to cheerleaders. The fight club gains traction, and soon the most popular girls in school are beating each other up in the name of self-defense. But the pair find themselves in over their heads and in need of a way out before their plan is exposed.
Dude, this is not a real movie.
It is a real movie.
This is not a movie that you truly think we've heard of.
I
Fight
know
Club
you've
2.
heard of it. You what?
Fight Club 2.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Fight Club
it's a
2.
David Fincher joint.
I'll tell you the director. This will help.
Okay.
Emma Seligman.
Oh,
does
the
help.
Seligman pick of the year.
Yeah.
I bet
I've-
there are some people who are listening and they're like, I got both of these right.
Screaming at the podcast that we don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Let me get my watch ready for 10 seconds of torture.
I'm gonna call this Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
That's a good
That
name
is
for
a good
something.
2023 release. But this would be Bottoms. Remember
Okay.
Bottoms?
No.
No.
Okay, fine. Looks like we have to sit in silence. Thanks a lot.
Right, and
Okay, fine. Now they will be much easier
Oh,
from
he's-
here because
Lucas can't handle
Wow,
it.
Lucas
I
can't even-
refuse. I
It's
refuse.
more of a punishment for him than it is for us.
yeah, I think we should just keep being quiet.
Yeah. All right, Jared, here's your bone.
What?
Following the latest Ghostface killings, the 4 survivors leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter in New York City.
Bro, I don't know what Scream came out this year.
Well, he got...
Scream 5? Scream 12?
No, not 12.
6?
Yes!
There you go.
6. There he goes. All right. What was it that I was singing? Oh.
That was
job.
awesome. That
That's-
did feel
It
good.
does feel really good.
It does feel good to get it. So this one, this
This
time...
is the most true prize and punishment that we've had on this
Yeah,
show.
this is
I
potent.
just miscalculated how well you guys knew the movies that came out this year that you haven't seen. So now I'm just gonna do easier ones.
Yeah,
but
I
still
can't
ones that you
believe I
haven't seen.
didn't know about the new Emily Seligman movie that came out.
I know.
The-
I know you're such
The
a big fan. so
High
I'm
school
shocked.
fight club girl thing.
Okay, this
And
one.
Korean.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yep.
What was even? I've already forgot the name of the Korean one that you were talking about.
The Killer.
Past
The
lives.
Killer. Right.
Yeah, the killer. I'm
That-
sure it's C if
Streaming
he's
original.
listening, which I don't know if he listens, but I'm sure he's rolling in his seat or whatever.
Oh, are you talking about
His
C.
coffin.
Ryle?
C. Ryle Brown.
Yeah.
Well,
C. Ryle
just so
sleeps
you
in
know-
a coffin.
He's-
2001: A Space
Yeah.
Odyssey is a bad movie. Official opinion of C. Ryle Brown.
What is 2001?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, he hates
that
it.
is the
Yeah,
official
he hates
opinion.
that. Stanley Kubrick,
hates
And he
not a
hates
good
Stanley
director.
Kubrick in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
All
thinks
right.
that the movie's not creative.
He does. He does think that
And
it's not creative.
zero ground was broken.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
2001. All right, Niall, here's one that you haven't seen but was pretty popular and you've definitely for sure heard of
In some circles.
in some circles. Yes. 3 siblings find an ancient vinyl that gives birth to a bloodthirsty demon that runs amok in a Los Angeles apartment building and thrusts them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. This was a very.
You think that I've certainly heard of this?
It was very
Niall.
popular.
Come
It was in
on,
theaters.
buddy.
You probably
a
saw
vinyl
trailers
that
for it.
summons a demon and it
Plenty
haunts a
of
building
things.
in Los Angeles?
I'll tell you, it's a part of
Oh.
a franchise
Yeah. Come
that
on, man.
usually takes place in a cabin in the woods. But this was a little break from that form, and it takes place in an apartment building.
In an apartment building called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, is that what it is?
No.
No chance.
It's
Directed
wait,
by-
wait. Shut up. Is it Thanksgiving?
It is not Thanksgiving,
Okay.
but it is Evil Dead Rise.
Which I
Oh.
didn't see.
You didn't see, but you did hear of it, right?
I heard of it. I
You
wouldn't
heard of
have
it.
known
There we
the
go.
plot.
That's a step in the right direction. All right. Now I'm just going to go with ones that I have seen that you haven't seen.
Wait,
Can't wait.
Because
Hey,
those
will you
ones are going to be
just-
more fun. Because the other ones
can
I
we
haven't
just get
seen.
one of these for
Oh. And there's the 10 seconds.
That was long.
That was the full
does-
10.
That was long.
That was the
That
full
hurt.
10, and that was well worth it.
We should
10
just do like
seconds is
a
long
pure
enough for a
15
listener. Yeah.
so they can do the skip 15 seconds.
That's
And
Is
not
that what the
miss.
skip is? And not miss anything.
10 seconds is long enough for a listener to think that the podcast is not working.
See, some of these
true.
don't have great log lines, but
Oh no.
Yeah, we'll do
While
this.
you're-
Oppenheimer's
All right.
back. and
Oppenheimer's
he's
back,
pissed.
baby. All right. All right,
Okay.
Jared, get ready. A personal look at this French military leader's origin and swift, ruthless climb to
Ridiculous.
emperor,
Yeah,
viewed
all
through
right.
the prism of his addictive, volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine.
John Wick 4. No, I mean, sorry, Napoleon.
That's correct. There we go.
That was good. That was really good.
Okay, now I feel like it's pretty even in terms of I've given you both terrible ones and both pretty easy ones. So now that the floor is reset, we can do 5 more movies each,
Oh.
starting with Back
Each?
at Night.
This is a good way to recap all the movies we won't be talking about because
Yeah.
we haven't seen them.
It's great. That's
Exactly.
good.
But hey, you know, it's all part of the fun. Okay, Niall, this is I'll just read. A sick and desperate John Kramer travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes of a miracle cure for his cancer, only to discover the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. Armed with a
I know this
newfound
one.
purpose, the infamous serial killer returns to work, turning the tables on the con artist in his signature visceral ways through devious, deranged, and ingenious traps.
Saw.
Saw
X.
X.
Saw
That's
XLR
it.
Plus Pro.
Well
It was
done.
socks.
Very well done.
Socks.
Socks, yeah. Good job, Niall. Very good job.
Thanks.
Good job.
See, that was a little tough, right? You didn't immediately.
I only
get
know
it.
that because of Andrew Wilkins. Shout out to Andrew.
Shout out to
who
Andrew.
Just
Well-
told me what that movie was about.
There you go. Hey, but now
At
I
the
got it.
end, when it said his famous traps, that was the only thing that got me there. The whole time I was troubled. You gave me my sound, right? I
did.
kind of wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
no,
no,
you're
okay. What do you mean
evil
you were paying
dance.
attention?
Evil dance.
Oh,
Best part
right.
of the whole thing.
Okay.
You did one of these.
I got a lot on my mind right now.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, Jared, here's yours.
Woo!
Easier. You definitely have heard of this. You probably even want to watch this one, as opposed to some of the other ones, which I imagine none of you will ever watch. However,
I'm not gonna
here we
go back
go.
and watch Socks.
A curmudgeonly instructor at a New England prep school is forced to remain
The
on campus.
Holdovers.
There you go. Good job.
I didn't know that we were allowed to go right when we knew it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
start doing that.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just trying to
start.
speed this up because this has been a 15-minute bit.
Yeah, well, most of them usually are. So we're doing one more each, and then we'll start talking more
And then
about
we'll
the
do
movies we've
three
actually
after that.
watched.
I'll let you say the whole thing next time.
It's fine, whatever. People have seen the holdovers. They know.
I just knew you were going to say that one for me.
You just knew. You just felt it because you got
yeah.
this Christmas sweater on and everything.
Yeah, because Paul Giamatti is my Patronus.
That's a good joke. That'd be fun. All right, Niall. Having grown sick and tired of his centuries as Dracula's lackey, he finds a new lease on life and maybe even redemption when he falls for a feisty, perennial, angry traffic cop named Rebecca Quincy.
Renfield.
Renfield is correct. Rebecca Quincy is played by Awkwafina. Isn't that fun?
Okay. Hey, did you hear,
it's not.
by the way, a law was passed at the beginning of this year
Awkwafina
execute
can't act
Awkwafina.
anymore.
that if there is an animated movie, Awkwafina has to be in the cast.
Oh.
That's actually really
It's
That's
required.
that sounds like some California bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, and you've already seen it been going into effect recently. It's just going to get worse. She's
gonna
just
get
going to be
worse.
in every animated film.
Well, that's good because she's my favorite actor. So
Yeah.
You've heard it here first, folks.
all right, no, Jared, this is going to be the final. We start with Niall, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
No,
this is the
I get
final.
one more.
No, we started with Niall.
Okay, then this is the final one of the game. I hope you all had fun playing at home. Maybe you even had a little bit of a brain teaser and you're like, maybe this one's on the tip of my tongue. Or you knew it immediately because it became much easier as we went on.
Sorry, we
And
let you
maybe-
sit with your thoughts for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe after the first question, you skipped ahead a bunch, and now you've stopped to see if the game is over,
And it's
you're
not.
hearing us
Not
say
yet.
this, and
Still
it's not.
going.
Skip ahead just a couple more times, and then you'll be in
You're
the actual
almost there.
episode.
What? I don't even remember the first movie. Oh, yeah, the Jennifer Lawrence crap. All right, Jared, here we go.
Okay.
Celebrated sleuth, now retired and living in self-imposed exile, reluctantly attends a Halloween seance at a decaying, haunted palazzo. When one of the guests is murdered, the detective is thrust into a sinister world of shadows and secrets.
Well, I do say this sounds like The Haunting in Venice.
That would be incorrect, unfortunately. That was
A Haunting in Venice.
A Haunting in Venice is also incorrect. That was Priscilla, directed by Sofia Coppola about Elvis Presley's wife.
Oh.
that was.
So you
That-
were close.
They're so similar.
Maybe
that
I
it's-
should see that
Yeah,
one.
you were
That
very,
sounds better
very
than I
close.
thought. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a lot more murder and
Layered.
detective work in Priscilla than maybe some would anticipate. But I'm joking. It was A Haunting in Venice. And with that,
Wow.
that's enough of that game. Sorry that went so long.
Give
but I hope
give
you
us
had fun.
ourselves a round of applause.
I hope you had fun.
I say for
listening.
myself and Niall.
Yay. Okay, now we'll talk more about the stuff we actually watched.
Ib-
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Man Cave Movie Night
Movie
Monday.
night.
We were
My
almost
name's
all in
Niall.
sync. My
Happy
name is
New Year.
Lucas. Happy New
I'm
Year.
Jared.
We,
That's Papa Smurf.
We are in 2024, baby, and boy, is it fun to be here because that's the world
Didn't
we
think
live
we'd
in.
make it. Didn't think we'd make
it.
it.
Wow, Lucas is all about the jingles today.
Yeah, I'm just feeling real jingly. So let's just talk about movies we liked. You know, there were a lot of movies that came out. Ones we didn't see, ones we did
Wait,
see,
first,
ones
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't
true.
like, ones we
can
did
you
like.
believe
That's true.
that
And
now
that's-
that it's 2024, 2050 is officially closer than 1840?
Not quite. It's
Whoa,
not quite
finally.
closer.
Yeah,
Next year it will be
the
closer.
scales have tipped. Oh,
Well,
is
I
it
mean, like,
next
well, I
year?
think it's like once you get to like June.
June.
That's kind of when it
It's at the
tips.
solstice.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
solstice. Yeah, yeah.
At the
Gotcha.
solstice.
That's
That's why there's that big celebration this year.
Yeah, the big goodbye 1840 festival.
Yeah.
the Goodbye 1840 Festival. Man, I can't wait to go to that again this year. Will it
That
stop?
sounds like the name of like a terrible like Taylor Swift album. Goodbye 1840.
Yeah, honestly.
No, it sounds like a great Taylor Swift album. What are you talking about? She never misses.
Yep.
She was a huge part of our year. So shout out Taylor
She
Swift.
was a huge part of our year.
Good job. You did it. You became person of
Congrats.
the year. I think it should have gone
Yeah,
to
but-
Niall, but what do I know?
Yep. Guile.
Guile.
Are you Guile now? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we lost
'Cause we
Bile.
killed Bile.
Guile's in.
So, yeah, I would say that I probably watched more movies that came out this year than any other year, if that makes sense. Like, I watched more 2023 movies this year than I have previously, even more than last year, a year which I also watched a lot of movies that came out from that year. And let me just say, it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of
It was a good year for movies.
very good movies that came out.
Good movie year. Would have been
also-
better if Dune had come out.
So true, but what I was going to say with that actually is it makes it a lot better for next year because there are very few movies coming out that look worthwhile in terms of, like, I was trying to make like I'm excited for these movies list, like the top 10 anticipated movies we did last year. And it was hard to make. I was like, last year was very easy to make. There were so many where I was like, oh
You get
man.
up to 4, and it's
You
like,
got Madam
Yeah.
Web.
Yeah.
You've got Craven the
Yeah,
Hunter.
obviously the big three right
You've
off the bat:
got
Venom, Craven, Madam Web.
Venom.
Got to knock them out
3.
immediately. But we are not talking as much about the year that has just arrived. We're talking about the year that has just completed.
so long, 2023.
So long, 2023. You were nice
Bye-bye.
and good.
Bye-bye.
And so yeah, how about you guys? Did you consume some good content and entertainment this year of media?
Absolutely.
And of movies and of TV? Perhaps
I did.
even
Maybe all of them, honestly.
all of them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this year was really, really great for me for non-franchise films
Yes.
or really original movies.
Yep.
I mean, with the exception of like Godzilla and Guardians, those two were stand out and they're part of a larger. I mean, Godzilla's a retelling, so not really part of a universe. But yeah, it was like really fun to go and see all these movies that just are great standalones that won't have sequels or don't have ones that came before it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Full agree.
And even Godzilla, like, yeah, technically it's part of a franchise, but it's like a new entry.
It's such a
Yeah.
it's its
It's
own
so
It's so
different.
standalone.
Like,
Yeah.
you could have replaced that monster with basically anything else, and it still would have been like really compelling. It didn't have to
We'll
be
call
Godzilla,
it just like
but-
a remake.
But yeah,
not a franchise film.
yeah, it was excellent. Definitely one of my favorites of the year. What about you, Niall? You liked the movies or no?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Hmm.
Maybe one that you liked, or did
Yeah.
did you not want to say anything that you did like?
Yeah, there
Wanna
was a
keep it
lot of good
secret?
stuff this year. The Flash was really good. The Creator was
Fast
really
X.
good.
Did you watch The Creator?
Yeah. It was bad.
It was pretty mid.
It was unfortunate because it looked beautiful and
It
it,
did look-
sounded beautiful, but it just nothing
Nothing.
that happened in it mattered to me at all.
That's one of those sci-fi movies where it's like, oh man, it's so cool to like see some cool visuals, but this story is dumb. Like
Yeah.
a lot of sci-fi writing is. Shout out 2001.
Yep. True.
Yep.
Big fact. But no, there was a lot of stuff this year that I liked. I agree. It was less franchisey this year, at least in terms of movies. TV shows are still, whatever they are, but a lot of good movies, good video games, namely Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 that
Yeah.
I've been putting some good time into.
How's your Baldur's Gate 3 liaison going?
It's going pretty well. I haven't had a lot of time over the holidays to be just alone at my house to play video games, so I haven't gotten super far into it, but it's great. I just love it. So I don't know. There's been a lot of good entertainment. There's also been some heavily
stinkers.
mid entertainment this year.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot that I hated this year.
Yeah, I was thinking
But
that.
there's some that are just like will just be so lost to time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like,
Just
okay, saw that
immediately
once and it's
forgotten.
just gone forever.
Maybe even
Can-
some of the ones that I quizzed you on earlier that have already been,
don't know.
been forgotten to time.
Yep.
Yeah, Haunting in Venice. That one.
No hard feelings though. That's gonna be one that's going
one
in
for
the
the
vault
generations.
of history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The vault of history.
True.
Where movies
Can I
go.
ask a little question to kind of get us kicked off?
Let's hear
I would
it.
love
Let's hear
for
it.
And
you to do
maybe a big what was a big surprise, a movie that you or a TV show that you watched that you loved, and what was kind of a letdown? What was one you were really hoping would be great that just didn't
deliver.
hit the mark?
Yeah.
Good question.
For me, the letdown was The Creator. That was
Why did you have
that was
expectations for
seriously like top 3
I was excited for it,
excited
man.
movies. Like I was pumped about that movie, and then I saw it and I was just like, this just kind of sucks. And
It's incredible.
I was pretty bummed about that.
That is a good answer.
In terms of movies that so there's stuff that I know we've already talked about. We talked about Godzilla,
Sure.
which was amazing, but that didn't surprise me that I loved it. I knew I was going to love it.
Yeah.
Here's another movie that technically didn't surprise me, but I just feel like we didn't really cover it a ton, and so more fun to answer this, but Blackberry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was.
that was
definitely
my answer.
That
Oh,
movie
no, that's fine.
was so good. It just kind of like, and it wasn't a huge release. You ask a lot of people, like, did you
Yeah.
see Blackberry? And they're like, I've never even heard of that. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Sure.
But it was so good. I loved just every moment of that movie. And it was so like, it's funny to have a movie about the development of a phone feel like high octane.
Yeah.
But it really felt just like everything. There was just so much pressure and intensity, and man, it was just great. And I've been watching here and there. I still haven't finished it, but I've been watching the show that the director of that made.
Oh, what's
The
it called?
Best Friend with the Headband. It's called Nirvana, the band, the show.
Oh, nice.
And it is hilarious. It's truly like, I kind of can't believe how funny it is.
Nice.
And we should all get together and watch like at least the first episode of it sometime.
Where did you
because
find
of how you have to watch it. It's super sketchy. It used to be on YouTube, and then it got like copyright taken down. So the dude posted a video that just says, here it is, and there's a link in the description to the sketchiest like streaming site I've ever been to, but all of
right
it's
up
there, and
Lucas Valley.
the creator put it up there himself. Like
Oh,
it's
nice.
legit. It's actually the thing. But he was just like, I'm sorry that you can't watch it here, so here's a place where you can watch it.
Is that Matt Johnson, the guy who directed Blackberry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's very cool of him to do that. Yeah, when the Weird Al movie came out last year, he posted on Twitter, because it was only streaming in the U.S., he's like, yeah, it's a bummer to everyone overseas who can't watch our movie yet, but there's a torrent of places you can probably still find it. It was like Weird Al
That's
himself. It's
sick.
just like, yeah, whatever. Watch the movie. I don't
Steal
care.
it. I just want you to see
yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's way funny.
But
So sorry, that's a little sidetrack.
that's
I just
good.
when I started talking about Matt Johnson, I was like, well,
You're like, yeah,
I
no,
gotta
let's
say
just plug
how
this.
funny this show is.
I fully agree, though. Blackberry totally caught me off guard. It was so good, and it had no right to be. Who cares about blackberries? But me now.
You could have done a Blackberry Fool's Paradise.
Well, that
We
I was going to
could've.
segue.
Is that gonna be-
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah.
that was my disappointing one, certainly, because I was like, man, Charlie Day. Who doesn't love Charlie Day, especially as a fan of Sunny?
Gold.
Like we
He's a
love
great
Sunny.
writer.
And Fool's Paradise was just so nothing. Like it was just. I mean, I'm sure he had fun with it. I'm sure they all were having a blast, but it just is a very hollow movie. There's no real substance or story or anything. It's just kind of like, hey, here's stuff happening, and some of it is genuinely really funny, but it just is not formatted at all in a way for a movie that would make any sort of coherent sense. It's just like things happen, things happen, things happen. Oh, hey, remember this guy? Things happen. Oh, hey, look, here's this guy from earlier. And so, I don't know. It was a ton of fun, but I love Charlie Day, and I still was forgiving in my review and in my watching, because it's his first movie and he's never really even directed Sunny, so it's like it's hard. But yeah, that was extremely disappointing. On the flip side, Blackberry was excellent, one that I was not expecting to be good. I was not expecting it to be anything. That is one of my absolute favorites of the year is The Iron Claw. I don't think you guys have watched this one yet.
Not yet.
But
Yeah.
It's on the books.
absolutely floored me how good it was. Zac Efron is like it's just not even a competition. It is by far his best movie that he's been in and his best performance. He does.
You know he's in
Baywatch?
High School Musical too, though, right?
Sorry, I haven't watched that one actually.
Seen Baywatch?
You'll change your mind.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I haven't seen.
You
Baywatch,
seen The
actually.
Neighbors
Did you see
2?
Baywatch?
Sorry, I haven't seen The Neighbors 2. Sorry, I have seen Neighbors 1. Is that not as good?
You seen Neighbors 2?
Um,
Come back
then-
when you've watched
then, yeah,
Neighbors
let's
2
maybe
and
not
tell
make
me
such
that Iron
bold
Claw is
claims.
his best movie.
It doesn't make such bold claims on this.
Bold
sorry,
claims.
sorry. I really thought that Iron Claw was his best movie, but I guess since I haven't seen Neighbors 2, there's no way for me to know for sure if it's his best movie. But most of the other movies I watched this year that I loved, I was expecting to love. Like I love Fincher and I loved The Killer. I loved James Gunn and I loved Guardians. Loved Chris Nolan and I loved Oppenheimer. So it's like that type of stuff was pretty on par for me. Iron Claw, Sean Durkin.
You didn't
the
mention
director.
Barbie. That's a red flag.
Sorry, I did really enjoy Barbie. It was not
Okay,
one of my
there you
favorites
go.
of the year, but it was very, very good. But and again, Asteroid City, Wes Anderson, knew I was gonna love it. I did love it. But yeah, Iron Claw just was so good. I cannot recommend it enough, and definitely the best Zac Efron movie that I have seen. I'll clarify that I have
There
seen.
you
Thank
go.
you.
I
Thank
have
you.
seen.
Finally learning some
Yes.
responsibility.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that one.
Your
Words
words
matter to some people.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they do.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
So sorry about that.
That's good. My big excitement, good time. We've talked about it before. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among
Yes.
Oh,
Thieves.
yeah, bro.
That one. I mean, I was excited for it, and it delivered. Like, it's not like Guardians, where I knew exactly, for the most part, what I was going to get out of it.
Yeah.
With Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I didn't expect big curveballs. They still knocked it out of the park, but with Dungeons and Dragons, could have been just real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So I was very excited about that one.
I was
right around the
amped
same
about it,
time-
but I was prepared for it to suck.
Yeah. I think, I
Yeah,
mean, I'll
totally. That's
throw
a
in
good way to say
Godzilla as well as one of my, shocks of how much I liked it. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever watched a Godzilla movie and been like, boy,
Boy, was that good.
that was just such a good use of my time.
Yeah.
No, I've never once thought
But
that.
this one definitely was. I would even go and see it again.
I did go and see it again. It was worth it.
And?
It's great.
Worth
Great
it.
a second
Alright,
time
there you
around,
go.
even.
Yeah. Oppenheimer the second time around was great as well.
Yeah.
You dragged me to that one.
I did.
but
Well, you didn't have
I
to.
did
come
not
with.
want to see it again.
You.
We talked about that. I was like, I really want to see anything else, but you're like, bro, let's see it in IMAX. It's like
You didn't have to come with.
$1.
I already had my ticket to IMAX Oppenheimer. I was going to rewatch it. You volunteered to come with, so I refused
did.
to accept any blame for forcing.
Well,
you to
I had
rewatch.
fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Fine.
I had fun, but I still felt like a ton of pressure from Lucas. Like a ton of pressure.
Rewatch
You guys
Oppenheimer.
sound like a couple that's sitting like at a diner in the booth behind mine that is having a more interesting conversation than the conversation that I'm having.
So
So,
you're-
I just want to.
He's like, don't put blame on me.
like,
Don't
oh,
put,
they're
well, you're the
arguing
one who
about
was
something
going to
that
go.
doesn't matter.
I
This
wanted
is
to
fun.
spend time
The
with you.
conversation you're a part of, you're just nodding, and while you're actively trying to listen behind you and trying to
Yeah.
pick up on just
We've
enough
all
of the
been there.
conversation you're a part of to be able to contribute some sort of something. Yeah. Another actor.
so-
sorry. Continue.
Well, I was just gonna say those two are like my, they were great. My less good. We talked about this. We have a whole episode on it. I didn't like Mario at all.
Oh yeah.
There was like barely anything I got out of that movie, even though it should be the most nostalgia bait for me, but didn't hit, and I was a little bummed. And then I was really hoping Marvels would.
Yeah,
Would
we'll hit it
deliver.
out of the park.
You love the
Just-
first one. Famous Jared loves.
Well,
Loves.
famous Jared take.
Yeah, he-
Love the Marvels.
He loves it so much. That is so
But-
sad for you that you didn't get to.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry for yourself. I didn't have high expectations, but I knew you did, and so it was really
Yeah.
sad for me to see you.
Well,
disappointed.
actually, one I will say is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I expected to be a 5-star movie for me, and it was only a 4.5, and that was a bummer. But maybe when this part 2 is out and I watch them again, I bet it'll go up to 5.
Yeah.
That movie rocked. Except they're not
I
calling
really
it
did
part
like
2 anymore. Did you hear that?
I did hear that, which is
What
interesting.
is-
So I think
The
this one will
delay
just-
is significant enough that they're just going to call it a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But it's still very much the
The
part
rest of
2 to
yeah,
part
part
1.
two.
yeah, because it ends.
But
in
they're
that
just
way.
not calling it part
It's
2
called
anymore, which I'm like, guys,
Dead
it's okay
Reckoned.
to still call it part 2.
Yeah, I don't get that. It's only a 2-year gap. Whatever.
Dead Reckoning again
Dead
later.
Reckoning later. So I mean, I guess that will mean that
Dead Reckoning,
7 will
the
be
final
renamed as
chapter.
well to just Dead Reckoning, and then part 2 will have its own
Yeah.
name. I guess
Possibly.
we'll see. That means
It'll
anyone
be
with
fun for them to go back and change all of the posters that are printed.
I was just thinking that anyone who bought a poster or like a Blu-ray or whatever, and it's just
well,
like,
now it's,
they've just become collector's editions.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, hey, these are rare now because they renamed the movie to not part 1. With Jeremy Allen White, who is in Iron Claw as well, and he does a great job in that too. I wouldn't say it's his best performance because his best performance is in The Bear, a show I also started watching this year, and season 2 actually came out this year. And wow, was that one that I was not expecting to be good. Well, as good. I had heard that it was awesome, which is why I watched it. And I started watching pretty much right after season 2 came out. So I just binged all of seasons 1 and 2. Season 1 I thought was awesome. Season 2 blew me out of the water. It was just so amazing. I was really kind of in shock at how good season 2 of that show is. And season 3 comes out in 2024. So let's go.
Ew.
I'm very excited because this is one of the few shows that I'm currently watching that seemingly will have a 1 season per year release schedule, which is so
That'll
rare.
be nice.
Because The Bear season 1 came out in 2022, and then 2023 was season 2. So hopefully it continues because, maybe another thing that we've already talked about as well that should hopefully come out this year, Severance season 2. We don't want to be waiting over 2 years again for those friggin' seasons. And so hopefully that will not be the case. And maybe we can get a little bit of a more regular schedule for that, but who knows?
But you know what? Sometimes it's just nice to start something that's already ended.
That is
you
true.
know?
That is
Where you're
100% true.
I know exactly what I'm going to get. I can watch it on my own pace. And you can now do that with a fan favorite or a podcast favorite show, Shingeki no Kyojin.
Oh, true.
Oh,
Attack on Titan,
baby.
baby. Which ended this year after
And it started in
8 years.
2007.
It's like
yeah.
10, however many years it was.
A
I've watched
long
it for like
time.
8 or something like that. Finally ended, and it stuck the landing.
Yeah.
What a crazy end to
It's
a
a-
crazy show.
Very, very crazy end. And it's one of those great examples of if you showed someone the first episode and then asked them to guess what happened in the finale, not
Wouldn't happen.
one single person ever in the whole world would even get kind of close.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
In a way that doesn't feel disappointing.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not like
it's just-
what is this?
well,
This
it's
doesn't
not like
make
a
any
Game
sense.
of Thrones.
It's just, yeah.
No,
Hey,
yeah.
you know the guy who
It's not
falls off at the
subverting
end of the
itself.
first
It's-
episode? Well, boy, do I have good news for you about that character.
But yeah, it was, that finale was
It was awesome.
really something. And it's
yeah.
one of the rare finales where you watch the finale, at least for me. Maybe it's different because I haven't seen any of the first 3 seasons for so long. But as soon as I was done, I was like, I want to rewatch that show.
Yeah,
I want
same.
to turn that on and watch episode 1 right
Like
now
immediately.
and start rewatching it because, man, it pulls you in.
Yeah. There aren't a lot of shows like that, but that's cool that it does that. It's rare that I watch a show and I'm like, yeah, I want to watch more. Usually I'm like pretty ready to be done. I mean, even if it's a great show, it's like, cool. I really enjoyed this journey and now I'm ready to move on to a new thing and not have to continue watching.
You gotta watch Shingeki.
Shingeki
that is one thing that I
No Kyojin.
began to delve into this year, which was I started watching Death Note and I still haven't finished it. But I will finish it because then this next year I will watch Shingeki no Kyojin because, again, like Jared said, now that it's done, it is so much more like it
Appealing.
so much more appealing. Exactly. It's so much easier to start something knowing A, that it is over and so I don't have to wait, but also that it ended well. And so that is a huge incentive because man, we always come back to Game of Thrones, but it's just the perfect example of a show that's so good and ends so bad.
Yeah.
It just
What sucks is also we all knew going into it, it was
stinky.
it was going to be
That
bad.
the
It was
ending
going
was
to
bad.
end bad.
Yeah,
It was
I didn't
just
know
kinda like, all right, we're just
specifically
riding
what,
this
but I
out.
knew that it was going to be a very disappointing final season.
Yeah.
I re-listening to our 2022 recap. Basically exactly a year ago right now, I was watching Game of Thrones for the first time, and I was still in like season 1 or 2, and so I was like, man, this is sick, which it is. So good.
It is.
And House of the Dragon as well was also great, and so I'm looking forward to season 2 of that. Hopefully it continues to be good, but just
I'm halfway through.
oh, you are watching it. Yeah, nice. We talked
So you've
about
only
that,
seen
actually.
like 8 or 9 birthing scenes.
Yeah.
I've only seen one so far.
No.
Only one?
Only one?
Did you not?
think
Are you
they-
not watching the extended edition?
Oh,
Yeah, the
that's
extended
what it
edition.
is.
Extended edition
Yeah,
has
yeah, that's
twice as
true.
many birthing scenes.
That makes sense.
There's like 4 in that show, if you haven't seen it, listeners. And all of them are just rough.
Oh yeah,
None of them go
they're not
well.
easy births or
No.
good. Like they always are, way too bloody. It's like,
It's
oh man, like whoa.
oh. So I'm glad you're watching it though.
Yeah, it fun.
It
fun for me.
It very fun. I think, honestly, like, I remember, this is going to sound so dumb, but I remember at the beginning of this year, I was actually really looking forward to Ant-Man 3. And I think Niall was too, because we had talked,
Oh,
we
I
talked
was
about it a little.
hyped, bro.
Like, especially with Kang, and now, like, that movie will just be
That's a stain, bro.
It's a stain. It was terrible. I honestly think it's the worst Marvel movie. And Jonathan Majors is done. So it's just like they want to move on from that as quickly as possible. And I will say as well with 2023, especially with Marvel, I think they had all of their worst content come out this year, because Secret Invasion is also the worst show that they've had so far. Not that they've had that many, but it is by far the worst show. And Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Marvels are, I think, the 2 worst Marvel movies. Guardians 3 was great. Loki season 2 was great. But everything else was just either forgettable or aggressively bad. Like going out of your way to be bad. It's like, hey, what if Kang, the new multiverse villain, was killed by ants? And that's the way...
Big ant.
Big ants. So that's, whatever. But let's talk more about shows. Were there any shows you guys watched that came out this year that you loved or thought that was really lame? Why did I waste my time on this? Other than Shingeki no Kyojin, which we covered, which was great, according to you two, which I haven't seen yet, and The Bear.
Well,
according to
lots,
according to many.
yeah, of course, but
we,
whatever. You know what I
we
mean.
got the
In
best
context of
season
conversation.
of Always Sunny that we've had in a couple of years.
That is a good, very good point. I really like this.
Still wasn't my favorite. There's a lot of it that just kind of feels depressing because they just look old.
They look old and
but,
they act old and they sound
act
old.
old, yeah.
But yeah, it for the most part, by far is my favorite season since like season 10.
Nice. Yeah.
So
It was really good. It's hard because listening to the podcast is so fun. Like their podcast is great, and boy do I
Yeah.
miss it. I would love for them to come back with that.
Yeah, when is that going to start again?
Who knows? Who knows if ever, but hopefully eventually. But the thing with that as well is I was expecting them to care more, the main 3. And I think they did in their writing, but their acting just did not show that at all. Danny
Yeah.
DeVito and Caitlin Olsen killed it the whole season. They really brought
Yep.
it. The main 3,
Caitlin Olsen gets better every season.
she's so
I swear.
funny. And Danny DeVito is just always good, He's never once,
Yeah.
and anything I've seen him in, been bad. He's
He's-
always
yeah, he's
great.
never phoned in a performance.
Yeah, and the main 3, I'm like, come on. I mean, there's some moments, of course, like the Dennis episode at the end of the season, which was great the whole time.
So funny.
But there's some
Yeah.
lines where I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, you could
Yeah,
have done
that
another
had
take
so
on
much
that.
potential.
Like, come on. That was
Yeah.
a good joke, and you just totally wasted it. Except for the Zoa thing, again, of course. Which
The Zoa
was
thing was perfect.
perfect. I still love there was a Zoa joke in...
There's a Zoa joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you not watch it? Or,
Refrigerator
See-
full of Zoas.
yeah.
No.
Glenn or Dennis opens Mac's refrigerator because they're doing something with like money, and he's like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you'd probably save more money if you weren't buying so many of these rock energy drinks. And it's just Zoa. Just so much Zoa.
And he says, you don't have to buy everything that The Rock sells you. You know that, Mac?
yeah, that's what it was. It's so funny.
That's great. I'll look that up.
It was way
Well,
fun.
because then again, they have the alcohol episode as well, and the Rock. I mean, it's the Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul one.
Oh, right.
But
Yeah.
They're just
still, the Rock does that.
wanting
Dos
these
hombres.
partnerships so they can promote their
Their
Irish
own
whiskey
alcohol.
or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Well, they
Yeah.
through they were kind of poking fun of themselves because they don't have their alcohol in the show, but they're also like, hey, look how dumb it is that celebrities make alcohol while simultaneously having just come out with their own alcohol.
Yeah.
So it was a fun way of doing that, I think. But
Another thing, and then this is all that I have to say about television that was released this year. I watched a lot of television this year, but I didn't watch a ton that was released.
Well, we can talk about
The
what you
Last of
watched.
Us.
Oh,
man.
of course.
Yeah, that's the
Just
only other one I can
Pretty
do.
much perfect television. Like, I don't think I have a single complaint with that show.
No, it was really good.
I just love it and truly cannot wait for the next season. Especially fun because I haven't played the games, so I don't know what comes next.
Yeah,
you know,
I haven't either.
Like, and I've intentionally avoided looking up like what's similar to the game and what's different because I'm certain that whatever is different is probably just stuff that they've kind of reordered and it's going to come up later and things like that. So I don't want to know any of the deviations. I'm very, very excited to see what comes from that. And I know I already said this because we did an episode on The Last of Us, but it was the most like community that I've felt around a show in a really long time.
Oh,
Because I
totally.
was watching it week to week, and pretty much everyone I knew was watching it week to week. And so every Monday, basically, I'd see my friends and kind of like, did you guys
You guys
watch
watched
the
the
new
new,
one?
yeah.
Like, what did you think? And just like, it was so much fun. And I haven't felt that basically since high school
Yeah.
with a new TV show, you know? So it was really awesome.
The one thing I know about the second game is that Joel and Ellie do get married, so I'll be curious
Right.
to see how
And
they do
have
that.
many kids.
Yeah,
which
they have
is it's
dozens, and it's kind of hard
Tons of birthing
Tons
scenes in
of
this
birthing
next season.
because it'll time jump
They're
just
gonna do the
between birthing
extended.
scenes in the game, and you have to play as Joel delivering the babies every time.
Oh,
or as Ellie, and it's like press
Press
X,
X to
rapidly to push.
to birth.
Oof.
Yeah, a lot
that's-
of that game is just scavenging for food to provide for the dozens of children. Because at that
Yeah.
point, Joel is like, I mean, they wait until she's like 30 to get married, but Joel is
Yeah.
like 75, and so he's looking a little worse for wear. But I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
I
to
heard
see
that
how
they have
adapt
you
it.
play quick time events as the babies too, to like orient yourself so that your head is first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you fail, that baby is dead for the rest of the
Is
game.
lost.
And then you've got to replay another birthing scene.
Yeah, you have to
Oh,
replace the
jeez.
babies. Oh, anyway,
You
that's
have to have 10.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Last of Us fell off.
Oh, you know what else came out
oh-
this year? Succession season 4.
Oh man.
That's
Oh,
another
sure.
one that was just incredible.
Oh, just thinking about the ending of that show just gave me really big chills right now. Oh man.
Yeah, that again, that was one that I'd heard was great, but I waited until it was over to start, and boy was I glad that I did, because I would have
Yeah.
hated waiting between seasons for that
Yeah.
show. It would have been awful. Or
That-
even weeks. Like even waiting 1 week to watch an episode would have been
Yeah.
terrible.
What I loved about the ending of that show is that it's like, okay, what this show is about is over, but the story is by no means over.
Oh yeah.
It's like you just kind of imagine, like, man, what is going to happen next to these people? You know, it's like the show's concept comes to a close, but you are left just with your
dwelling.
imagination to serve you all of these concepts of what could happen next. And I love that. It's not an ambiguous ending, but it is an ending where you're just kind of like, I feel fully satisfied and also so curious to know what would happen next. Like if there were another season, it would be equally compelling television because
It'd
of
just be very different.
how interesting the rest of it is. So I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, fully agree. There actually was more that came out this
Phenom.
year than I was realizing. The Eric Andre show, season 6.
I'll throw one in there.
Yeah, let's hear
Silo.
it. Let's hear it.
Jury Duty.
Jury Duty,
Oh,
yes.
baby,
What
baby.
a fun,
I can't believe that
fun
came out this
show.
year. That's crazy.
Jury Duty rocked,
like-
man.
Early summer?
Yeah.
Before summer?
I think it was summer.
I think
We
so.
watched it during the summer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great one. If you
Yeah.
aren't familiar with it, go check it out. Basically, it's showing the process of an American jury trial system. But everyone except for the main guy, Ronald, is an actor, and he does not know that. And so it's
funny.
basically
It was
that's just
perfect.
the setting, but all of the shenanigans that go on, that you're just watching this guy. It feels like Nathan For You, where he's kind of doing his bit, but everyone else is like real. It's like
Yeah.
the inverse.
That's
I
the
guess.
opposite.
Long
yeah.
But
form
watching
opposite.
someone's
Yeah.
real reaction to like absurd things happening is really
It
funny.
is very funny.
Yeah.
And it ends in such a wholesome, heartwarming way.
It was perfect.
It's just
It's
so,
really,
they
really
could not
sweet.
have found a better person to
Yeah.
do that with, because he responded to a Craigslist ad, and that's how he got that gig, which I think is
Yeah.
just so funny as well.
Also very
No-
Nathan
Yeah,
For You.
yeah, 100% Nathan For You.
Truly, my only bummer about that show is that you kind of can't do it again.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
the best you could do is find another setting and have the same crew, like, do the same concept, but somewhere else. But even then, it's like, what could you do that's like a jury duty that just random normal people could get to do and not, like, I don't know. It's just, I can't think of a concept that's as good as jury duty.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
In terms of
golden nugget.
totally. It was so well done.
Which is and in some ways ideal because of how good it is.
Yeah.
Like if it was replicable and they could do it again, who knows? Maybe the guy they get isn't as good, and then it's
Yeah,
just
then it's just
not
not
as
as- yeah, it's
entertaining
not
as
as satisfying,
television.
right?
It-
Yeah,
like
it's- Yeah, that's one where I'm sure they want to do more with it because of how successful it was. Like so many
Yeah.
people were watching it and talking about it, but then at the same time, it's like almost too successful to be able to do it again. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's one that I don't know. I really enjoyed, but we'll see what they figure out with that one. Yeah, you know what came out this year as well was The Mandalorian season 3. Did you guys?
when did it come
Like
out?
February. I totally
No, I
forgot
know,
that
I
came out
just-
this year. Honestly,
I didn't watch it.
Well,
January.
it was
No-
concurrent with no, it was House of the Dragon and The Last of Us that came out at the same time.
Yeah, and the Mandalorian
Yeah.
was like, but the
Right
Mandalorian
after
was
or
coming
something.
out at the same time as something, and it was just like,
Yeah.
man, no one's
Not
gonna
gonna watch that
Yeah.
one.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Ahsoka either, which I heard was much better.
I actually did like Ahsoka. Some people didn't love it. I thought it was fun. Like it's just very Star Wars. Like and that is, it's very Dave Filoni, George Lucas Star Wars. I'll say that. Like it's very much corny dialogue, fun lightsaber stuff, kind of silly, over the top sci-fi space
Well, that's what you
adventure.
want.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a lot of fun with it. Some people didn't love it, and that is perfectly reasonable.
Did Andor come out this year? Or was that
That was
late last year?
Yeah. January to like May of this year felt like 5 years ago. And then May to the end of
Yeah.
this year felt like it just went by so quickly.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it felt like it was yesterday. So
Felt like tomorrow.
it felt like the past was tomorrow.
Felt like it has not yet happened.
Yeah, that is true. It feels like
Feels
like
like
the,
I'm just gearing up to go to the Marvels.
the experiences I've had over the last 8 months haven't happened yet, and that I'll have them tomorrow. That's what it feels like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that feeling,
that's what I'm saying.
Is that a relatable feeling to you guys?
Yeah.
That is
100%.
a relatable feeling.
Cool. So,
Also, season 2 of Loki and season 2 of Vox Machina.
oh,
Those are
Yeah.
two other shows
Vox
that got
Machina was this
an
year.
extra installment, which is
Both
great.
great season twos, both of them.
yeah.
I'm bummed we haven't heard anything about
Season 3.
Season 3.
I'm shocked.
I know.
Yeah, actually.
which
Of Vox Machina.
both of the first season and second season came out early, like January, February of 22 and 23. But it looks like we might not get that early seasons of 24, which is a bummer.
Man, that is a bummer.
It's
'cause I haven't
it's a
caught
shame,
up,
but they're loaded up because this year we also got the announcement of the Mighty Nine animated, the Critical Role's Campaign 2, that I, not having watched Campaign 1, will always still confidently declare that it's their best thing. And I just... It's possible that like the concurrent developments of those
pushing
has something to do with the delays, because I know they weren't as affected by like SAG stuff. They were affected by the writers' strike, which went
that's fair.
a lot less long than SAG. But season 3 was almost definitely already like scripted out by them.
Probably enough to the point where they could start recording.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not really sure. I think voice acting like that's different.
I think
from SAG.
somehow there was SAG voice acting was allowed. I'm not totally sure on that, but I think you might be right.
Because
like,
I know that
still
like
voice record for animated stuff.
And Critical Role itself went through SAG, like during the strike they were still going.
Oh, interesting.
Doing the episodes.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know. That's interesting.
Because it's not like acting, it's like its own thing.
Its own thing.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer that we don't have any information on season 3, but we do know, I believe, that season 3 and 4 of Vox Machina have been greenlit.
Oh, 3 and 4.
Yeah, so like it's happening.
It's just who knows
we just don't know. Yeah, they haven't announced even a release window yet, which is weird because when the first season came out, they were like, and next January, season 2. Like,
but they also crowdfunded those 2 seasons. Like that was surefire. They wanted to
probably
just make
made
a
them
pilot
kind of together.
I think that was the case. So they greenlit their pilot, or basically what happened was they were like, "Hey, we want to turn our D&D campaign into a show." So they're like, "All we need is X amount of money, like a couple $100,000, to make a pilot, to pitch to shows, and then to networks. Hopefully they can get picked up." What ended up happening is they got like $14 million,
that was the
something
most successful
crazy,
Kickstarter of all time.
Most successful, and they're like, "Okay, well, never mind. We can make 2 full seasons. Now we just need to find someone who will put our show on there, distribute it." And so they partnered with Amazon, and it was so successful, and people are so excited about it, and it got great ratings that and reviews that they were picked up for more. But my guess is they were kind of like they had in the chamber 2 seasons basically.
That makes sense.
And now they've got to just keep going with
that makes sense.
New stuff. But we'll see. I'm sure they will keep going. That's the plan. I just don't want to wait because I'm a little greedy little boy.
Especially because I think season 1 and 2 both at least opened to 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
Which is so cool.
Which is
that's awesome.
D&D I'm sure they've probably gone down a little bit since then, but
who knows?
Maybe a little.
It's still probably high 90s, but just not. It's hard. It's near impossible to maintain a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Not even Citizen Kane could manage. Paddington 2, however.
But that one's not that good.
Yeah, Citizen Kane is
2,
so long.
Yeah, it's so long.
Yeah.
It's not even in color.
Season 1 still has 100% on the tomatometer. The audience score has gone down to 93%.
Oh, low 7%.
Interesting.
You're going to have to gut them. Flay them.
And then season 2, also 100%. And audience is 97.
Oh, wow.
The critics stayed at... That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of Amazon animated shows, Invincible season 2 started this year. Jared and I watched
and it's going to end in like 2027.
So here's the dumb thing with that. We watched the first episode, and then I learned, this is only 4 episodes, and then the other 4 coming out at some point next year. And I was like, screw that. I'm not going to watch the rest of this. I don't want to have to get to a mid-season break cliffhanger and then wait another year for 4 episodes. It took them
It's a
almost
very
3
for an
years
8-episode
to make
season,
4
that's
episodes.
ridiculous.
And then they're pushing another year for the other 4 episodes. They're like, oh, we're doing season 3 concurrently. I'm like, okay, well, why? Why not just put out season 2 earlier? And because if it's like
it's so
if it's
dumb.
like 6 months between seasons 2 and 3, like I don't want that either. Like some break is great, which is why a year I think is ideal. But saying, oh yeah, 3 years for season 2, I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be another however many years until season 3. But
And didn't Invincible come out in like 2020, the first season?
2021, like mid to early 2021. But
Crazy.
before we completely wrap up, I also do want to say Spider-Man 2 video game also came out this year. We didn't talk a ton about video games, but I loved that game. That is one of the very few games that I 100%ed, partially because it's a pretty easy 100%. And some people will complain about that. Others, like me, like to be able to play a game, finish it, and then move on, like you would a movie, which is exactly what that felt like. It was so fun and so well made. There are people who I've seen complaining about the dumbest things about that game. But for me, it was incredible. It was so much fun. The story was just amazing. And as I was playing it, I was just like, this makes the Sony movies all the more frustrating. Because Kraven and Venom are the 2 main antagonists. And they are done so well. But also in a really unique way. Like it's not the traditional Kraven or Venom stories. And it is so good the way they do both of those characters. And I'm like, why do we have to have the film versions of these characters be the absolute worst? Now, I can't fully speak to Kraven.
We don't know.
I can't fully speak to Kraven.
We don't know about Kraven
But
yet.
I can make a pretty fair assumption that movie will not be as good of an adaptation as the game was. Because, and then with the Insomniac leaks, that just makes me all the more excited for the future of the Spider-Man and Marvel stuff they have. So that is a game that I really loved. My parents have a PS5, so I had to play it at their house. But if you have access to a PS5, I would highly recommend playing that game because it is so much fun. And that, I think, was the only new game this year that I played. I don't know if it...
Except for maybe Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, of course, and
Shout
Hogwarts
out
Legacy.
to the creators of
I did
Hogwarts
play
Legacy.
Which was a ton of fun as well. But that was at the beginning of the year. Again, January to May feels like it was decades ago. And Spider-Man
Yet
just came out.
somehow 2020 feels like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So Hogwarts Legacy was also a ton of fun. Actually, I was very enthused to be able to play that game. And yeah, I think one thing we did last year that I think was fun that we can do before we conclude was we named a single favorite and a single least favorite movie. We talked about ones that were kind of like we were unexpected. I really like Jared's question with that. But I think if we just have to choose one and one, I'll give you guys time if you want it because I have mine.
You go for it, yeah.
So my favorite of the year...
Don't let recency bias.
My favorite of the year is Oppenheimer, which is no unique opinion. That's going to be a lot of people's favorite movie. But I think we're going to get a rare occasion of 2 years in a row, the movie that deserves to win Best Picture, winning Best Picture. I really, really hope, obviously the Oscars haven't happened yet, but I hope Oppenheimer wins again, like how Everything Everywhere All at Once won last year.
Get him his first Oscar.
Yeah. I think it will give him his first 3 Oscars. I think he's going to win Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Picture, which would be the big 3. And he's going to get them all from the same movie.
Could be getting visual effects too.
Nope, it's not on the short list. It will not be nominated.
No.
And plus, it would be his movie, but he himself, like his movies have won.
But the visual effects
team
boys
would have
get
won that, but it's not going to even be nominated, which is insanity to me. Because what was on the short list was Quantumania. And
the visual effects
of that movie were
unrefined, to say.
And then for my least favorite movie, so yeah, Oppenheimer, great. Obviously, I think we all loved Oppenheimer. That's no hot take or opinion. I think my least favorite movie of the year, honestly, was Blue Beetle. That movie sucked.
You saw it.
I was shocked how bad that movie was. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be good, but also I was just so surprised at how bad it was. I was like, this is crazy. And it's not 100% terrible. Like, there are moments, but it is just such a blatant ripoff of Marvel movies. And it doesn't, like, basically it's the biggest ripoff of Ant-Man. But it's like if Ant-Man didn't have Hank Pym physically present. He was just gone, but he's like still a huge part of the story. Ted Kord's character is like the equivalent in this movie, and it's just like so aggressively not well performed or directed or anything. And so that's going to be my least favorite of the year, with a close runner-up being Quantumania. And you know, I love superhero movies. I love Marvel and I love DC in theory. I don't actually love most DC movies, but my favorite movie last year was The Batman. So, man, yeah.
Batman's so good.
And then close runner-up for favorite would be The Iron Claw, like I mentioned. Not expecting it to be as good, but Iron Claw was great. Oppenheimer was my favorite. Blue Beetle was my least favorite. And there we go.
Okay, I've got mine.
Very good. Go for it, Niall.
I truly don't think that this is recency bias. Godzilla Minus One was my favorite.
It's definitely my
Yeah.
top 10. It honestly
Totally.
is.
Same.
It was the conclusion to the best trilogy ever made. 2 of the movies came out this year: Pearl Harbor, Oppenheimer, and Godzilla Minus One.
Pearl Harbor.
yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor,
That's
and
when
then
it starts.
Oppenheimer in
It's the
response,
response.
Oh.
and then Godzilla
Took
Minus
double
One.
But
down.
I mean, Pearl Harbor is that... I remember Pearl Harbor not being
It's
very
part of the
good.
story. No, but it's
No,
a great
it's-
setup.
Oh, you're right.
Like
Sorry.
it.
It's a great setup
It's a
for
great
Oppenheimer.
setup
You're
for
right.
Oppenheimer,
Sorry.
and
And that's why it's good.
it sets the ball so that Oppenheimer and Godzilla Minus One can spike
Yep.
it. But no, I loved Oppenheimer. That's very high up. Barbie is actually also very, very high up for
I did
me.
love Barbie.
That's a contender for sure. But Godzilla Minus One, man, when you just perfectly execute something that I already hold so near and dear to my heart, it's really hard for me to not just adore that. Like, that's a movie that I'm going to like, that's going to be on my list of movies that my children need to see.
Godzilla
you know?
Minus One. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I loved it. It's so good. I really, really love
So-
it. It's a great World War II movie, like from a Japanese
Yeah.
perspective. Just
It's freaking,
yeah,
it's
subtext
awesome.
is everything.
Least favorite, The Flash.
Really, the least favorite.
Ezra Miller putting baby in the microwave.
You soured on
and
that quick because I think you liked it more when you first watched it.
I liked it fine. Here's the thing. The main reason that I liked it was because the emotional climax of that movie still hit,
Yeah.
despite how bad the rest of it was.
Yeah. I would say that's fair.
However, I spent 95% of that movie just rolling my eyes and in disbelief at how bad it looked and how bad the script was and how bad the performances were and just all of these different things. And then the reason that because I think I gave it like 3 stars on Letterboxd. The reason that I did that was because at the end of it all, the scene where he's back in the supermarket with his mom was emotional.
no, it was good.
And it did a really good job. But I think that I was too gracious because one good scene
Does not a movie make.
does not a movie make. Exactly. However, it was a good enough scene that I remember in the moment thinking, I don't regret seeing this.
Yeah.
I rarely regret
Yeah,
seeing
same,
any movie. But I thought like, okay, saw it, good. But the more that I think about just how much of that movie I spent thinking, why does his neck look so long? Why is his head floating? Why is the script bad? Just like all of these, there were so many things about that movie that were just abysmal.
Oh, yeah.
And that the fact that a week before it came out, I saw like a leaked video that I thought was very clearly a joke AI generated thing of Ezra Miller Flash putting a baby into a microwave and then closing it. And then I saw the movie and that was an actual scene in the
That
movie.
is wild.
I was like, no
You'll have to
way.
tell me the
Well,
context.
it doesn't
later.
he take
it
the
is-
baby out of the microwave, but they reversed it and made it look like he's putting it in? Because he He saves the baby.
I don't.
Somehow a baby
I don't
gets
think.
in a microwave.
No. He puts the baby in a microwave in the movie. The hospital is exploding.
Yeah,
and
right.
it's all of the babies like slide out of the thing, and so he zips up and catches all the babies, and it's like supposed to be
can
funny, but it
imagine
just
this.
feels so messed up.
Yeah. I
Imagining it in my mind does not look good.
It looks the way the rest of the movie looks.
stinky.
It looks like a scene from Polar
untextured.
Express 2.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
It really does. That all the more reason I'm excited for a DC reset, man.
Yeah. 2024 going to be a sleepy year,
year.
and then we get Superman Legacy.
Yep. Sleepy
which
year for a
hopefully
lot
will
of
just
things.
kick
Marvel,
everything
DC,
off.
everyone is gonna.
That's good.
It's gonna
Put
be
them to
sleepy.
sleep for a sec.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need a nap.
25
They
will
need
be
a timeout.
awesome. 24 will be.
Put them down for a little nap.
I am too.
So there's my answers.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, good answers.
Big shout out to DC.
Thanks, guys.
I'll say my least favorite first, so we can end on a high positive
Good, nice,
note.
good
Love
idea.
it.
Now, and I was looking back over the movies I saw this year from this year on Letterboxd, and I think my least favorite was not what I rated the lowest.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kind of maybe in the same way Niall
Yeah.
was, but because I was thinking, the Marvels, Mario Bros, whatever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I can foresee myself choosing to watch those again for some reason.
In some contexts.
Maybe it's like, oh yeah, it's turned on, I'll sit down and watch it. I don't think I'll ever try to go out of my way to watch Dream Scenario again.
Really? That's surprising.
I just did not like that movie at all.
Least favorite of the year.
I'd say it's my least favorite of the year that I saw.
Interesting.
There was nothing. It was nothing. It was like a big spectacle movie. It felt like it was trying to be so artsy. There was no moral lesson. There was like zero substance really to it. It's just this guy wanders into this weird supernatural thing that's going on, right? It's a movie where people are having dreams randomly about Nick Cage. And in those dreams,
familiar to me.
he's in those dreams at first, he's just watching horrible things happen to these people and he's not helping. And then later, he starts doing horrible things to people. And then later, the dreams stop. And truly, there is no reason it's not clear at all that his decisions are affecting it or anything like that. And it's just kind of nothing. No explanation. That's fine. But it's not like at the end of the day, it's, like Groundhog Day, I think I compared it to before. In Groundhog Day, something supernatural is happening to Bill Murray, and in the end, he becomes a better person, and it stops, basically. Yeah. Right? Rough cut. Really this one, nothing like that. It's just not explained. There's just horrific visuals. There's some awkward, weird sexual stuff. At the end of the day, didn't like it. My least favorite movie.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so
Nor have I.
But
so
yeah, I'm still.
A little bit of a
if nothing else, that just adds to my curiosity of watching it because I'm interested in seeing it. But it being your least favorite makes me want to watch it even more now, just to see.
It's just a movie that clearly wasn't made for me.
Yeah, and that's
you know
fair.
what I mean.
That's totally fair.
Which is totally fine, but it was my least favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite, man, probably. There's so many good ones. I'll probably just go with I think, honestly, maybe Blackberry.
Really, dude, nice.
Yeah,
I love it.
I
It was
think
so
watching
good.
that movie,
It's top
it was
five
just
for sure.
a really great telling of the story. It showed these bad people doing bad things, or good people being like corrupted a bit by it, and it was just a really, really well told story. Yeah. And the acting was amazing. And I hope it doesn't get too slept on in awards.
I hope so too.
But it came out way too early for it to be.
That's my only thing.
Is it nominated for anything?
Well, it's been nominated for a few like critic awards, just random whatever.
Is it on any like short lists?
Not so. The short lists are only for the technical categories.
Technical.
Yeah. So the main like best picture, acting, they don't do short lists for those. But the nominees are announced the 21st, I think, ish, like 20s of January, and so I hope so bad Glenn Howerton gets the nomination.
Me too.
I think that would be
Yeah.
so
If
rad.
nothing else, a nomination would be
It would be
huge.
so cool.
I
I don't
just
think he's going
don't-
to win, but I think
enormous. Yeah.
I don't foresee it happening, which is sad. But
He-
I would love for it.
I would love to see it, honestly, get nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it will, just because I think this year was so stacked.
It was an aggressive
Especially
year,
for awards, like movies that are like, hey, nominate us for awards that are usually successful at doing that, like Maestro. That crap is all going to get nominated. And so I think Blackberry will just be forgotten, like Jared said, because it came out so long ago. But, I would love for it to get nominated for Best Picture, and I would love for Glenn Howerton to get that nomination. I'm kind of like, I don't know if it'll happen. I kind of doubt it. But, again, it would just be so cool.
But hey, if you haven't seen it, it's probably one of this list that you listening haven't
Yeah,
seen.
totally.
Yeah.
Go check it. Like, check it
worth
out.
a watch.
It's
Yeah.
really,
I would
really well
rewatch
done.
that
It's a great
Today,
drama.
honestly, I wanted
Same.
to rewatch it, but it left theaters so quickly. I feel like it's on Hulu or something. Like I think you can stream it somewhere.
Is it on something?
But I'm not sure where.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, while we look this up.
Yeah, but
While you look that up,
I was kind of looking back on my, not to drag us out too long, but I was looking back at our because last year, or I don't know if we all did this together. I think we did. Our most anticipated, we made a list of top, like, most anticipated movies. And I would say all of them, except for two, were exactly as good as I anticipated. Like, they were all great. Because the only two that I was looking forward to that I did not think deliver were Beau is Afraid and Napoleon. Both of which I was really looking forward to, and I thought were just very fine. Like, there were parts
Yeah, both I
about
haven't
both,
seen.
parts about both that I loved, like really thought were awesome, and then parts about both that I was like, this, who cares? Like, just they were way too long. But overall, my anticipations were met. I was like, hey, these are some movies that I'm very much looking forward to, and then they delivered. And so not only was he a good year for movies that I wasn't expecting to be good, just in general, the movies that I knew were coming out, I was like, yo, this is great. This is awesome. So I hope it's the same for next year. But like I mentioned, starting to make that list that we'll talk about next week was harder than I was thinking it would be, because it's going to be a dead year, everyone. So don't anticipate anything being too good, but all the better for Dune, baby. All the better for Dune.
yeah, it's a good year for you to rewatch the stuff that you love, that you've been wanting to rewatch, because there's not going to be a whole lot of good new stuff going on.
Or watch something that was older that you've never gotten around to.
Start catching up.
It'll be a good year for catching up for sure, which honestly I'm really looking forward to.
We might need.
Yeah, we definitely will need.
We might need that.
So,
Okay.
So,
I don't have
Well,
anything else to say. That was fun talking though.
Just quick note, my mom's doing great, and it's all because of the help of the
She's on the
following
up and up.
people.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear
Shout out to Kel from Nick Bell, Michael Polonsic, Easy Law, Britton Inkley, Riley Allen, Ian James Martin, and Hannah Steed. It means so much to me what you guys are doing for my mom. So thank you so much for shouting her out.
You guys are sweet for that.
If you would like to shout my mother out as well, you can support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/mancavemovie-night. It's $3 a month, and you get access to exclusive bonus episodes where we goof and gaff, and you get to shout out my mother.
What?
Yeah, it means so much to me. And if she were in a responsive state, she would say that it means so much to her as well.
She's not there yet. But
She'll be there
getting
soon.
She's on the way. She's on the way.
that's great to hear.
She moved her finger
Maybe we'll do
yesterday,
a Patreon exclusive episode with your mom sometime.
That would be really
she
fun.
would,
Ooh.
she would hate that.
Yeah.
Get her to do it.
My mom would
We
hate
just
it so
talk about her
much.
favorite movies and we just nod our heads the whole time.
Yes, yes.
It
No,
could be
she-
10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think what would be fun is to get my mom. I'll have her make a list of her top 10 movies, and then we can just read those off and talk
There you
about
go.
them. Because
Yeah.
I don't think that she would want to be on it, but
Sure.
she would love for her opinions to be heard. So,
Cool.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And Lucas, you want to sign us off because this is your
I
one?
would love to sign us off,
Okay.
but
Do
I
it.
gotta wait 10 seconds for.
Oh, all right.
Thank you for listening to Man Cave Movie Night. Not just this week, but all weeks of the entire year. We've had so much fun doing another year of Man Cave Movie Nights. It was very fun. It was a great year for movies and TV. And, there's always the few little stinkers here and there. But we're looking forward to the future. We're excited for 2024. We're excited for you to keep listening, to tell your friends, and to just keep on being our friends. Because we love that you're our friends, that you listen to our podcast, and it's always fun and good. And we'll see you on another Man Cave Movie Night Monday.
Movie Night Monday.
Bye-bye. Bazinga.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Shout out Bazinga.